discuss the India story, and who better than Mr. J.P. Chalasani, the CEO at Suzlon Group, joining in on the show to talk about exactly that. Mr. Chalasani, great to have you today on ET Now. Thanks for your time. Firstly, I want to talk about your recent 381 megawatt order win from Zelestra. It's your first FDRE project. Tell us a little bit about how does this order align with your long-term FDRE strategy, and what is the expected timeline for commissioning?
The FDRE is actually, that everybody is now moving towards FDRE because we need round-the-clock power, not just intermittent power of wind alone or solar alone. So when it comes to FDRE, what happens is integration of wind, solar, and the battery becomes an important factor. So we are supplying to them in the FDRE the wind portion of it, but also we help them to integrate the whole process. This is for execution for this year and the next year. That will get completed. That is FY26 and FY27. And this is part of our 5.7 gigawatts of large order book, what we closing balance order book to be executed, what we have.
Mr. Chalasani, just a little bit more about this order. Zelestra is aiming for a 5 gigawatt portfolio via hybrid projects by 27-28. Is Suzlon going to be a key partner in this process, and could you be playing a key role in future projects when it comes to Zelestra?
It's not right on my part to talk about a specific client, because we work with all the clients on a repeat basis. Okay, most of our clients are the clients whom we have been working on multiple times. So Zelestra is one of those clients with whom we have been working a number of times. So therefore, we expect that we will continue to have that relationship. That's the case with most of our clients. If you look at our client base, each one of them are the second time, third time, fourth time we've been working with us. So that is what we take pride in, that our client base is always the one which keeps coming back to us and working in a partnership on a long-term basis.
Right. Mr. Chalasani, what about the revenue visibility and the margin profile of this project from Zelestra for you?
We don't talk about specific order revenue wise. We never do that, because that's between us and the client. We can talk about overall revenue visibility or overall company level revenue, but not the specific order wise. We never discuss the details.
Please do. That will be even better if you could give us where the company's profitability and top line is headed next. What's the full year target like?
So we in May 25, when we had our annual results for FY25, we gave a guidance that in FY26 we will have a 60% growth. Okay. That's what we actually delivered in Q1. If you look at it, the top line is 55%, our EBITDA is 60% growth. And we reiterate that today also through your channel that we are on track to achieve that 60% growth rate for the year as a whole. So that's what is our guidance is, and that's what we stand by the guidance. We reconfirm that the guidance stands.
So let's talk about your order book. You have an order backlog target of 5 gigawatts as we speak. And you plan to increase the EPC share of the order book from 22% to 50% by FY28. Help us understand what's going to be the strategy to achieve this target. Any big projects, any visibility on that front?
Yeah. If you look at today, the order book is 5.7 gigawatts as we speak today. Obviously, it keeps changing week to week. In that, the 22% is EPC and 78% is non-EPC share. At one point of time, we used to do about 80 to 90% as an EPC projects. Okay. We want to improve our share of EPC because that helps to control the progress of the projects, because the land and ROW are the major issues. And that helps us to also to improve our supply of turbines on a faster basis. But for doing EPC, what is most important for us is to have the land in advance. What we started about few quarters back is start acquiring the land in advance in different states. And these projects are now getting converted into an EPC orders, which you will keep seeing that we are announcing more and more EPC orders, which would get executed in FY27 and FY28. So gradually, therefore, by FY28, progressively from current 22% of EPC, we expect to reach about 50% EPC. And that would give us a good control in terms of commissioning of the projects as well, plus the clear visibility for supply of turbines.
Okay, and also when you talk about your supply equipment plans, the procurement that you want to do in the Middle East and Europe by FY27 without EPC exposure as of now in these regions. So what specific market entry strategies will Suzlon employ in these new geographies? Any strategy, any plans that you could share on this front?
This is an export. It's a geographical expansion of our business.
Okay.
Obviously, that in the last 2 years, we have seen that we concentrated on Indian market. We stabilized our operations in Indian market. Today, we have 5.7 gigawatts, as we just spoke some time back, and that order book will continue to grow. While we are also moving towards EPC. So our strategy for India is completely in position, which will be on its own momentum. There's a time for us to look at what next in terms of this. Obviously, the natural corollary for us is that because we manufacture turbines, and why not we supply beyond Indian market after meeting the Indian market requirements. We've been exploring the different geographies now. We have hired the teams in different places at senior level, and we have created those offices. Right now, we're in the process of looking at which markets, whether it's Europe or Middle East or places like Vietnam, Portugal, and various places. We are in the process of preparing our business plan for these exports, because each place has a different, we need to study the local market, what turbine suits there, what are the conditions. And we would be ready with our blueprint by end of this year. And then the actual supply could start, let's say, towards the end of FY27. That's a plan. But right now, teams are on the ground and we're looking at the markets in depth. We are there in these markets earlier. It's not that we are entering for the first time. In fact, in most of these markets today, we operate the turbines because we supplied them earlier. Whether if you look at Europe or Australia or South Africa and different places, our operating team is already there. We're operating our turbines there, in which we have supplied earlier. Therefore, it's a re-entry for us. It's not a fresh entry. And also today, if you look at it, most of the clients in India are the clients which are global. Okay? So we're also trying to build relationships with these clients, saying that not just have a relationship for India alone, let's have this relationship for multi-country. And which is what some large companies, large clients are interested in. So we're also working at those strategic relationships where we will, while we have built our relationship in India, let's take it to outside India as well. So there are a number of plans, but obviously all this will start getting materialized in the next year. But here we'll only be supplying the equipment. We won't be doing the projects.
Sunny, speaking about the export market, you nearly have 2.68 gigawatt of installed capacity in the US. Tell me, how does the tariff regime impact your business? Any projects that get interrupted? And what strategies then at your end are you adopting to try and mitigate the impact?
I said, US is as much as you know is as much I know or we don't know. Okay. For the timing, it's very fluid stage. So therefore, I don't think it's right for me to comment on what's going to happen in the US. US is for us is right now at this stage is that pause and watch. While that is the easiest place for us to enter would have been, that's the first place where we restarted our office. But looking at the current flex, let's wait. I really can't comment what will happen there. But the concentration is going to be in Europe and other countries at this stage. And as and when the US some clarity comes, we will start relooking at that. But right now, it's completely uncertain. What sort of a tariff levels, what is going to happen? We all know every day it's changing. So therefore, at this stage, do we have a US strategy? No. Our US strategy right now is wait and watch.
And Mr. Chalasani, before we let you go, just want to talk about the government's ALMM policy that is seen to boost domestic production and reduce the dependence that we have on imports. Give us a sense of what impact, if at all, this could have on your procurement from China, because on one hand we do have this policy, but on the other we also have a growing relationship with China that we're just seeing developing between the two countries. Any impact on your cost of goods?
See, let me slightly correct that statement. We don't depend upon imports. Okay, we do have a sufficient domestic capacity available today. But then because of different reasons, some of the companies have been importing significantly from the countries which you talked about. Okay, that's for a different reason it has been coming in. Otherwise, in India, we do have today 18 to 20 gigawatts of capacity, not just the wind turbines, including the components. So what this ALMM will do is that this will enable this capacity utilization factor in India to go up, and that will also enable the reduction in the cost. And more importantly, it will actually bring the quality of every single supplier in the same level today. Today, it is not the case. In the ALMM, because everyone has to procure those components from the listed suppliers only, and that listing is going to be based on certain criteria, inspections, quality requirements, and everything. I think this is what is going to create a level playing field, and it's extremely good for India. It just not only encourages the domestic manufacturing, utilization of domestic manufacturing capacity does exist on it. Second thing is it gives us the long-term stability in terms of operational maintenance and in terms of product, actual generation of electrons by these wind turbines. Reliability would significantly improve. And as far as we are concerned, it doesn't impact because even today we completely comply with the ALMM order what is there. So right from day one, because mostly our procurement entirely comes from domestic.
Okay, Mr. Chalasani, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate your outlook, and thanks so much for sharing the company's growth prospects with us. On that note, time to slip into a very short break. On the other side, we do have Gautam Shah, founder at Goldilocks Global Research, waiting, and we'll be connecting with him very shortly to get into a very interesting conversation.